Also got Caleb Hampton on today. Caleb is a two-sport athlete in high school at Baylor Academy there in the Chattanooga area. Recently committed to Stanford to play both football and baseball. It wasn't that long ago that the high school NIL opportunities were passed in the state of Tennessee. And I believe it's 21 other states in the country. But Tennessee, here in the eastern part of the state, we're really kind of hitting the ground running. Caleb was one of the first athletes that I reached out to as soon as I heard that, we got the go ahead for high school NIL. He's an incredibly interesting kid, and I think you'll really enjoy this conversation as we talk about just his training as a big time college recruit, what he's been doing at D1, and also his high school NIL just experience so far from the athlete side. And let's get to it now. It's Caleb Hampton. Got the Champ brand.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, by the way. So how did obviously you're Caleb Hampton, but
Yes.
the Champ brand, it's funny. I told my wife about that and she was like, "Oh, that's really cute."
Yeah. So no, I mean, it all started when I was probably like 7 or 8 playing baseball. And then people started like my dad started calling me Champ because like C Hamp. Because he would start posting like Facebook videos and stuff, and he would put C dot Hamp. And then just seeing that, he was like, "Oh, we just call you Champ." And then I would say my what was it? My freshman year, we like just made a hoodie, like a gray hoodie with like the Champ brand, but you can't sell it because of the rule. And then once they came out with the rule of like you can make your own money, we just went ahead and started it up.
How's that been going? People been buying in?
Oh yes, it's going really good right now. I've sold probably 80 right now, 80 hoodies,
Wow.
which is pretty good. Still trying to get more variety of hoodies and shirts and stuff in, but you got to start small first.
Yeah, that's great. I this is a side note, but we're about to get another dog, and I think we're gonna name the dog Champ.
Wow.
Now that's because we're big fans of the show Parks and Recreation, and they have
Hmm.
the dog champion on the show. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, I was telling that to my wife. Um, but yeah, we got Caleb Hampton from currently a student in Baylor in Chattanooga on, and recently a commit to Stanford. But I want to hear about that. But before, um, you're our first high school NIL athlete that I've had on the podcast, and you're really one of the first guys that, excuse me, that I reached out to, and you committed to D1 with the deal pretty quickly. So I just kind of want to hear, what has that process been like for you ever since TSSAA approved or the state approved high school NIL? What's it been like from your perspective, and what is your specific deal with D1 been like for you
Um,
so far?
yeah. So I think that them passing that deal was really good for high school athletes, just because many of us are busy like pursuing our sport in the summer, like all throughout the year. So we don't have time to, work jobs and make money. So this is a good way for us to make money. Some people use it for brands, some people use it for getting lessons with the more prestigious trainer, That's what I use. I do that with mine sometimes. Like I go down to Atlanta and hit with a good coach down there. But it's just opened more opportunities for I mean, not college, but high school athletes to receive money in a good form. Like, and hopefully, like this doesn't hurt college athletes, because if they use it the wrong way, then that means that they will maybe change the deal. But as long as you're using it the right way, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I graduated high school forever ago, 1999. But still, what I would do is you go to school all day and kind of what you're talking about. Then you go to some kind of strength and conditioning workout or practice for your team. And then I had to make some money to pay for my car insurance. So I would have to go work. I worked at CVS Pharmacy and I'd work there till 9:30. So then
Mhm.
I'm not making it home till quarter to 10 to even start homework.
Yeah.
So the actual academic side of things really is what took a hit because of that. So because of that alone, I think it's such a cool opportunity for this generation now of high school
Yeah.
athletes.
Yes. I'm very blessed that they passed that this year. So and now my brother can possibly have more opportunities, and all the younger athletes. So I'm very glad they passed that.
Right on. So what does your brother play?
He plays football. He was a cornerback. He switched from corner to safety on at Baylor. He's a junior. He's like 6'2", and he's enjoying it right now. He used to play baseball, and he stopped playing baseball his sophomore year. So yeah, he's
Cool.
big time.
But you're obviously he's big time. Well, I mean, you're a two sport athlete, just
Mhm.
committed to play both baseball and football. Stanford. What was that
Yes.
recruiting process like?
Oh, it was crazy. Well, I decommitted from South Carolina September 6th, which is pretty late, going to your senior year. And I decommitted because of there was like a lot of 6-year baseball players that were still there, and I believe that there was going to be a coaching change there. So I just we went ahead and decommitted, talked to my family, and decommitted from there. And a bunch of like local schools like ETSU and Austin P and Tennessee Tech reached out to me, and I was still sitting on what I should do. And then out of the blue during Christmas break, Stanford reached out to me, and just Stanford itself as an academic school is just beyond like what you could ask for. And then when they said I could play both sports, that was just another check. And I was like, I got to do this. I got to talk to my family, talk with them, spoke with them, talked to my coaches, and they were all for it. It was like, we can do this here. And they have a great history of dual sport athletes there too. John Elway was a dual sport athlete there. They had a kid named Brock who he got drafted last year, who he played safety at Stanford, but now he got drafted to the Rays. So it's very common to have dual sport athletes there, and they said I could do that there, so I was very excited for that.
Yeah. Caleb, do you know Joshua Dobbs?
Yes, I know Joshua Dobbs.
So he committed to or got offered by Stanford for I think it was baseball, but he just really wanted to do be a two sport athlete. He didn't want to give up football. So
Mm-hmm.
because Stanford wouldn't offer him the two sport offer, that's why he didn't go there. I mean, obviously he's rocket science guy. That's where he wanted to go. So that's kind
Yeah.
of cool that you got that offer over our Dobbsy that we love.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so who would you say is your favorite two sport athlete?
I'll say Bo Jackson. Him being a
That's a
running
good
back,
one.
and it's crazy. It's crazy because my freshman year in high school, I had to pick I used to wear number 42 for Jackie Robinson all the way up to my freshman year in football, and somebody already had the number 42, like an older player, so I couldn't get it as a freshman. So I just randomly picked 34, but there's so many great players that wore 34: Walter Payton, Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, all those guys. So I was like, wow, like I'm gonna just stick with this. So I mean, Bo Jackson, he played both sports. I really look up to him in a dual sport way.
Stanford's probably lucky that Colorado didn't get a hold of you with Dion being there.
Yeah.
Obviously, a phenomenal two sport athlete. I'm really curious about your experience at Baylor because that seems like a school where the athletics and the academics could be something, I guess the closest thing you possibly could get here in East Tennessee to something that might resemble a Stanford kind of experience that you got coming up.
Oh yeah. See, I was very blessed. I applied to both Macaulay and Baylor, um, but I couldn't get into Macaulay, so I went to Baylor, and I'm very glad that I made that decision because they provided me with the greatest resources and greatest teachers and great people in that area who helped me. Coach Kimry, like he came in this last season and he helped me with the recruiting process. We won a state championship in the last 50 years, and you got teachers that have impacted my life tremendously. So Baylor is also a great institution, and I recommend it to anybody that wants to go there to try it out because that school will have a great impact on your life and your academics and athletics. So I've been there since sixth grade all the way up to senior year, 7 years. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing there.
Well, what about your entire sports journey? Like even as, little Caleb playing, rec ball. What was that like up until you decided, the two sports you were really going to focus on?
Yeah. Well, I started playing baseball at 3, um, really early.
Three, wow.
Yeah, and I hit my first home run at around 4 or 5, and I knew I was in love with baseball then. Just going to all-star games and just those long trips to Mississippi and just hanging out with all my boys there. And then I always watched like football on TV and stuff like that. I remember watching Marshawn Lynch video in my room, and I told my dad I was like, I want to play football, and they had to think about it. My mom was very like, football's really really dangerous sport, and they I couldn't play until I was 8 years old. My first year playing, I was not great at all. I was running with the ball the wrong way, like had the ball like vertical, and I didn't even I wasn't holding it right. And me being very good at baseball, I've always wanted to be the best at each sport. Like whatever I'm playing, I want to be the best. So told my dad I was like, I want to be the best, and then he hooked me up with one of my baseball teammates, Asher Skiles, trained with Gerald Riggs, a former running back at Tennessee.
Yeah, he
And
worked at D1.
yeah, he worked at D1. I worked out with him there a few times too. I trained with him, and when I say he's been the best trainer I could ask for, he's helped me physically, and football wise and baseball wise. So, and my trainer at Baylor, Bryce Johnson, in the weight room, he's been very good with me, making sure I'm doing the right things for each sport, and I thank him for that.
What
So,
about your work with Jeff so far? Talking about working with folks at D1.
yeah, Jeff has great. He's been a great trainer. One thing I will say is a bunch of people are welcoming. Jeff is welcoming. I come early in the mornings, and he's bright and early right there. So I'm very thankful for that. Just it's a D1 has great resources there and great people there and great trainers. So I recommend it to any kid, any athlete that wants to get in touch. Just reach out to you, reach out to Jeff, because it's a great place to get your work in. It's another great resource to get your work in. So
And by the way, speaking of NIL, if you're hearing this, mention Caleb, and he'll get a commission on you. So
yeah,
that's a way to help him out too. So might
yes, sir.
as well take advantage of this opportunity there. Um, so I'm sorry, you were talking about as a little kid and then training, and then once you got up into high school working with the Baylor coaches, uh, what was that decision like when you were having to pick? Because I'm sure obviously you committed to South Carolina for just baseball. It must have been kind of difficult for you to pick, like, man, am I gonna have to choose just one of these sports?
Yeah, that it's very difficult. I've loved both sports when I played them. Just since I first started. And then when I was 9, I was starting to get better. 10, I was really good, and all the way up, I was just everybody knew who I was and how hard I worked. I was really big. I've always been big compared to everybody. And I just wanted to be the best. I worked out with Gerald. Worked out at home. I remember when I was living with my grandma, I was doing walking back and forth the hallway with weights and like doing curls and stuff. I just always had the mentality just to work when other people aren't. So I remember when I was 12, I was above the weight limit to be a running back in rec league, and I went out of my way and just ran around my neighborhood as much as I could and lost like 10 pounds in like 2 days. It was ridiculous, but I've always been, a hard worker. So just going up to Baylor, they saw that, and I used it to my advantage and took it, and they provided me with the resources to become better as an athlete and as a student. So I'm glad that I was able to have that opportunity.
That's excellent. So nowadays, when you hit the gym, what is your favorite workout exercise?
Oh, that's pretty crazy. I like them all, but I love doing power cleans. Um, just I don't know. I think I specialize in that because I haven't maxed on it since junior year, very beginning of junior year, and I maxed 305 as a junior. But I've always loved doing power cleans, so I'll probably
Um,
say power.
right on. And so I'm thinking about you as a running back at Stanford and all the other great running backs that have gone through there over the past few years. Is there if you had to pick to go professional in one of these sports, which one could you see yourself lasting longer in?
Well, lasting longer is definitely baseball because health wise, football is banged up. You don't have it's like three to 6 years in football is your average like football player. So baseball is very long lasting. I've been actually been talking to some scouts in baseball as well. So I do see myself most likely going to the MLB, but um doing both sports at Stanford, that's where I will see what really sticks with me. I love them both, and it's just what God has planned for me when I'm up there. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, speaking of, some of those scouts and stuff for Major League Baseball, last night I was at an event, with Tony Vitello, the Tennessee baseball coach, and Coach Q, the head strength and conditioning coach for the Vols, and just last season, he was the head strength guy with the Chicago Cubs, and it
Hmm.
was kinda funny talking about, just the difference between college and pros. He personally likes the college game a little better, but it was just really interesting hearing that difference of how
Yeah.
how it is from a college game to being with an organization like the Cubs.
Yes, sir.
Well, Caleb, I really appreciate it, man. Our first guy, and just really jumping in with the NIL thing. Having somebody like you pushing D1 is really it's been a cool experience from our perspective as well. So I love the partnership. Hope you do as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity.